Do you know grizzly bears can run with a top speed of 35 miles per hour, outpacing the fastest human Usain Bolt? But speed isn't the only thing they have. They have an extraordinary sense of smell, which makes them a ferocious and powerful hunter of the animal world. They can fight tigers, elks, caribou, and even humans if they feel threatened. Let's explore some of the craziest grizzly bear attacks that were caught on cameras. 1. Grizzly bear versus hunters. You think you know what it feels like to be hunted. Shane and Adam did. Or at least, they thought they did. They were out in the northern Rockies, hunting black bears. Months of failed attempts had led them here, to the high-elevation huckleberry basins during peak fall season. The air was crisp, the berries were ripe, and everything looked calm. But calm is deceptive. Unaware to them, they had wandered straight into a feeding zone. Not just any zone, this one had 5 grizzlies, each feeding independently, each focused on survival. And when these 5 worlds collided, chaos erupted. It started small. A sow and her 2 cubs moving uphill. Quiet, methodical, and protective. But then a scent hit her nose. A large, mature boar. And just like that, panic spread. The boar charged, asserting dominance. Cubs scattered, bears displaced. The air filled with tension you could cut with a knife. Then it happened. All 5 bears moved, fast. And they were coming straight at Shane and Adam, yelling, making themselves known as humans. Hoping, praying, that instinct alone would save them. But the bears didn't hesitate. No curiosity, no warning, only raw, unfiltered dominance. Every second stretched into forever. One hunter reached for bear spray, but the wind could have turned it against him. The other's rifle wasn't ready. Inches, mere inches, could have made the difference between life and death. Then, the impossible. They moved. They retreated, giving the sow and her cubs the space they needed. The bears ran through the hunter's exact positions and disappeared into the wild. Alive. Shaken. But alive. 5 grizzlies. 1 charge. 2 hunters. No injuries, no shots fired, just raw survival. And yet, as intense as this encounter was, it was only a glimpse of what the wild can do. Because if you thought that was close, just wait until you see what happens when a bear hunts a den of cubs caught on your phone. 2. Grizzly bear versus mother black bear and 3 cubs. The grizzly was digging with relentless effort, but it wasn't sure. Why is he making so much effort? But this grizzly had other plans. As the cameraman moved closer, it became clear this wasn't a bear casually foraging or moving along. It was hunting. Every movement, every shift of the massive body had purpose. The bear wasn't wandering aimlessly, it was focused. And the target? A den of black bears, hidden in the brush, sheltering a mother and her 3 cubs. The grizzly began digging, its powerful claws tearing into the earth with terrifying efficiency. Dirt flew, roots snapped. The den's entrance widened under the pressure. Then came the first signs of struggle. Inside, the mother black bear fought with everything she had. She lunged, swiped, and roared, trying to protect her cubs. One tiny paw shot out from the den, desperate to escape. But the grizzly was relentless, patient, calculating. Every strike was precise, every movement designed to overpower and dominate. The scene was chaotic, brutal, and mesmerizing. The mother bear's cries, the grunt of the grizzly, the scuffling of paws in dirt and roots. It was primal and real. In mere moments, the grizzly secured its kill. The cubs that had tried to flee were overtaken. The mother, exhausted and injured, could only watch. This wasn't random aggression, but it was calculated hunting behavior, an apex predator showing exactly how it survives in the wild. And yet, as gripping as this footage was, it was only part of the story. Because in the wild, grizzlies don't always rely on brute force or surprise. Sometimes, speed isn't what matters most. Patience and relentless determination decide who lives and who dies. And that's exactly what happens in the next encounter, where prey tries to outrun the predator, and the outcome is anything but predictable. 3. Grizzly bear versus caribou. Out in the remote wilderness, a chase was about to unfold that would test patience, endurance, and raw survival instinct. A caribou raced across open terrain, its long legs carrying it fast, far faster than the grizzly pursuing it. At first, it looked like the prey had the upper hand. Observers gasped, noting the speed difference. Surely, the caribou would outrun the bear. But speed isn't everything. The chase continued toward a river. The caribou began to slow, stopping in shallow water. Exhaustion? Injury? Inexperience? Whatever the reason, the grizzly didn't panic. It closed the distance steadily, relentlessly. This wasn't a sprint. This was a battle of endurance. The slower predator had patience, and patience in the wild can be deadly. And then an unexpected thing happened. The grizzly struck. The kill was over in seconds. Blood appeared on the bear, the mark of success. Without hesitation, the predator began feeding, every motion purposeful, every bite calculated. But nature isn't a solo game. A second bear arrived, drawn by the scent of the kill. Tension crackled. One bear challenged the dominant one. A charge, a retreat, another attempt. Same result. Dominance mattered more than strength or size. The intruder eventually backed off, leaving the victorious grizzly to claim the kill. For anyone watching, it was a lesson in survival. In the wild, brute speed can only take you so far. Endurance, strategy, and control decide who lives and who eats. 4. Grizzly bear versus Japanese climber. It started as an ordinary climb. An anonymous mountain climber was descending a rocky ridge on Mount Futago in Japan. His GoPro helmet camera captured every step. For over a minute, the descent seemed calm, uneventful, quiet, peaceful. Then, out of nowhere, everything changed. A grizzly bear appeared, charging downhill, fast and relentless. The sun behind it cast a shadow of raw power rushing straight toward him. There was no warning, no hesitation, no chance to escape. The bear snapped its jaws just feet away. The climber screamed, not out of fear alone, but as a desperate attempt to intimidate the predator. He pushed the bear, trying to create distance as it lunged again. But the bear didn't stop. It leapt past him, landing below, then immediately charged uphill. Again, seconds stretched into eternity. Every heartbeat thundered. Survival was all that mattered. The climber fought back. Fists clenched, he struck the bear repeatedly, aiming for anything that could force it back. And then, when the bear lunged a second time, he delivered a powerful kick straight to its head. And then a rare moment was seen by the whole world. The bear retreated. And just when you think that's the edge of danger, there's another level, where apex predators meet in the wild, and even the strongest aren't guaranteed victory. 5. Grizzly bear versus tiger. Out of nowhere, a showdown no one expected began. A grizzly was drinking calmly from a pond, unaware of the danger creeping closer. A tiger appeared, striking with lightning speed. The grizzly fled, instinct taking over. But survival doesn't always mean running. It means knowing when to fight. The grizzly turned. It stood its ground. Claws dug in, muscles coiled. The fight erupted, and Grizzly ran toward a jungle. Then the tiger attacked again. Cornered, the grizzly made a desperate move. It climbed a tree. Safety, for now. Time passed. The tiger waited, patient, calculating. But dominance in the wild isn't given, it's earned. Eventually, the grizzly returned to the ground. Eyes locked, muscles tensed. The fight resumed. And this time, the grizzly pushed back. Bold, aggressive, and unstoppable. The tiger retreated, finally beaten, not by size, not by strength, but by the grizzly's resilience and determination. In the wilderness, even apex predators can be challenged. Even the strongest can falter. But a grizzly? It doesn't give up. It decides the fight on its terms. This wasn't just a clash, but it was a lesson in survival, dominance, and raw power. 6. Grizzly versus polar bear. In the frozen expanse of the Arctic, a rare and astonishing encounter unfolded. Massive adult male polar bears, each likely tipping the scales at over 1,200 pounds, stood their ground, kings of their icy domain. And then, a grizzly appeared. Smaller, leaner, about 4 feet tall, and weighing roughly 300 pounds. Against all odds, it had entered their territory. What happened next wasn't a battle. It didn't need to be. The grizzly's scent carried on the wind. Just a whisper, a subtle warning. And it was enough. The polar bears, giants of the Arctic, retreated. No charge, no fight, just respect. In the wild, dominance isn't always about size or strength. Sometimes, it's about presence, strategy, and awareness. The grizzly had shown that even in the shadow of titans, cunning and confidence can tip the scales. This wasn't aggression. This was power in its purest, quietest form. Survival doesn't always roar. It sometimes whispers, and even the biggest creatures listen. From hunters nearly overrun to prey pushed past exhaustion. One truth remains. Grizzlies don't react, they decide. And that's what makes them terrifying. The wilderness isn't cruel. It's honest. Step into the wrong place at the wrong time, and the rules change instantly. If you know a real grizzly encounter or hunt that people need to hear about, drop it in the comments. Subscribe for more true wilderness stories where survival isn't guaranteed.